Hi guys, today I'm in Innsbruck training, and today's focus is to show you my training. It will be an endurance training on routes, and you ask me some questions on Instagram and I will try to answer most of them, and they're all about training, about my goals, and I will show you in the meantime a training that I'm doing in these days quite often, so it will be interesting and probably pumpy. Okay, I'm trying to find something to warm up, and usually I do 2 routes for warming up. First one could be around 7A, the second maybe 7B+, and if I don't feel warm, maybe I have to do a third one around 7C+. From 8A is not warm up anymore. Sta piovendo forte! I try to warm up on a 7A and 7B+, and it's not enough. If I feel that I'm not warm, I need another route, and I think I will do a 7C+ here. But in the meantime, while I'm resting after the 7B+, I can tell you why am I here in Innsbruck and what are my goals for the future. And we actually moved to Innsbruck for 6 months. It's not that far from Arco, but we decided to stay here full time with Sara because my goal this year will be the Olympic qualification. So I'll try to qualify for the Olympics. There will be 2 competitions, one in May and one in June. And the first 10 of this competition we go to Paris, in the Olympics in Paris. For this reason we moved here, because there is one of the best gyms in the world, especially for routes. That's why I'm here right now, training on some of the best routes set. There are many hard routes, but today I'm gonna focus on some easier routes because the goal of today is pure endurance. So I will lower a bit the grade and do some doubles. This is the training that I will do today. My second goal of this year will be to try again and climb Silence. If I qualify for the Olympics, they will be in August, and so after the Olympics there will be time for Norway, as I did last year. And so I will have time in August, September, maybe until mid-October to try again Silence. The good thing is that I'm training hard now in both bouldering and lead, and this means that I will maybe be in a good shape for Silence, that has like a hard boulder, but I need also a lot of endurance. And this is why I'm here for both Olympics and Silence. And maybe in the next fall, the third goal could be Burden of Dreams. I will have time maybe after Silence. It depends also on how the 2 first goals go. And so yeah, that's why I'm training. Okay, before I start answering your question, I would just like to remind you to subscribe to my channel. And I was thinking, since the Excalibur video just came out, I'd like to publish the uncut version of the video. So I thought about I can publish it if I reach 100,000 subscribers. I'm quite close, I think I'm 95,000. So it's just 5,000 more that you need to subscribe, and then I will publish the Excalibur uncut send footage. Okay, let's start with your questions. Luca Tinozzi, who's asking, during pre-competition training, do you do a lot of on-site routes or just train endurance? This is a good question because I can talk about what I'm doing now and what I do closer to the competition. So what I do now is build some more endurance, and the training that I'm doing today is doubles. So I will climb 2 routes in a row. Usually I select something hard, but not on my limit. I think I will go the first one around 8B, the second one around 8A plus. So the second one slightly easier than the first one. This is what I do at the beginning of my training, at the beginning of the year. Right now there are a few months till the competition, so I'm doing this more or less once a week. And the other kind of training is more on-site routes, so similar to what I found in a competition, with other routes like 8C plus, maybe 9A, 8C, 8C plus, 9A. There are many here, but I won't try them today. Just immediately before the competition, I would just do like on-site routes, not this kind of training, but since we are far from competition now, I will try to build as much endurance as I can with easier routes. From Delzel, any tips, tricks for building endurance? How do you know it's improving? How do you track this? Okay, this, I think something that I changed from last year is now that I'm keeping track of everything I do. Last year I was just training and then see how it goes. This year I'm trying to be a bit more scientific about this, and I'm using this watch to keep track of everything. It's a Coros watch, and this is made for climbers, so as a climbing app integrated, a climbing activity integrated, and it's very easy to use for lead training because you just start and then it keeps track of all your routes. It auto detect when you start with the altitude and auto detect when you go down and you rest. So at the end of the training I can see how many routes I did, how much longer it took to climb one route compared to another. And it has also a heart rate monitor integrated in the watch, but while climbing sometimes I don't wear the watch. During warm-up I wear the watch because I don't really care, but during like harder climb with big volumes I don't wear the watch. I just put it in the harness, and I have a heart rate monitor in my arms that I'm using like for all the trainings, so I can keep track of my heart rate. And this is a way to see if I'm improving or not. For example, if I try the same route now and in 1 month and check the heart rate, if the heart rate is going like is lowering, is going a bit down, it means that I have more endurance. For sure there are 2 ways to keep track of my improvements. The first one is if I'm going higher in a route, but it also means maybe that I know the route better if I try the same route. The second, if my heart rate is lower. So I'm keeping track of everything. Right now I'm at the beginning of the year. Towards the middle of the year I can see better, closer to the competition, if I improved, so I can change my training due to that. At the end of this video I will show you the data that we collected today, so we can see how it goes, and maybe in the next training, for the next video, we can compare the data. So I hope I answered your questions, and the next set of questions I will do after the first set of the double routes I will do right now. Potrebbe essere dura. torno su. Che vado. Okay, nice. Okay, now you go down and start immediately on an 8A plus. Hopefully I won't fall. Oh merda. Ciao. Okay. Okay, this was much easier, and yeah, the problem with the 8B was that I was on site, so 8B on site could be pretty hard, even if it was the first route. This was on site too, but it was much easier. So I think I will try again the 8B, maybe change the 8A plus. I need to think about it and try to be a bit more balanced, but I feel quite pumped with 2 routes in a row, so I think it was really good work. And it is okay to fall as soon as you start again and climb to the top, or even like 1 or 2 quick throws below the top. Is it okay? If you fall in the middle, you just go and continue the climbing, like if anything happened. Okay. Okay, after the first set I'm resting 15 minutes, which is not long, especially if you're like super pumped. To recover well, I think you need more time, but in this specific training it's good to rest, not fully rest. And so I have like few minutes to answer your other questions. There are a lot, so thank you very much for answering. Thank you very much for your question. I'll answer. If you have more questions, you can ask in the comments here. I'll try to answer with a comment. In the meantime, Julian 17 HBR asks, how often do you train endurance in the week? So in this period of the year I'm training twice a week endurance and 3 or 4 times power. And so, as I said, one time I will do this kind of training, and one time more like specific routes, on-site routes and harder routes. I think it is better to focus a bit more on power, like 3 power and 2 endurance, because you always need power anyway. Even in like long routes, if there's like a move that is hard, you will always need power, and you don't always need endurance. Just if you're trying like long routes, but if you're just bouldering, for sure you don't need this kind of endurance. You need like power endurance, which is another aspect that I train 1 or 2 times per week. One question related to this is from Silverstein, is can you train endurance and power in the same session? Normally I would say no, because it's better to separate things, but for some specific case, like training for the Olympics, for example, there will be bouldering and lead climbing in the same day, in the same competition. I think it could be useful to do a mixed training between boulders and lead, so power and endurance in the same training. I will do first some power training, because it's much more useful to train power when you're rested, when you have a lot of power and you can use all of it. If you're pumped and not well rested, then train power is not very useful. For this reason, it's better maybe if you can train in the same session, like in the morning and in the afternoon. I will do one power session in the morning and some endurance in the afternoon. But usually I try to split the trainings so I can focus on just one aspect of training at a time. Any specific endurance training besides climbing you would recommend? I mostly do everything on the wall, but there's one specific training on the hangboard where you hang for 7 seconds and rest for 3 seconds. This for 2 or 3 minutes. I think I did a video, or I can do a specific video about this, so you will get pumped on the hangboard with this training. I think it could be useful if you don't have a climbing wall or even a bouldering wall. You just have a hangboard, maybe you are on holiday or you are at home and you don't want to go to the gym because you already trained during the other days of the week. Once per week this training can be done. This is in Italian, I can translate from Antonio Ozzana. He asks that he has just a small board to train, if he can train endurance on a small board, and the answer is yes. You can even train endurance on a hangboard, so on a small board you can focus on circuits. I think if you can train on routes would be better because it's similar to what you find on the rock. But I often do circuits on a wall, on like a spray wall full of holes. Try to set some many moves from 30 to 50 and try to emulate what climbing is. So set a circuit and try to send it. There are some differences between this and lead climbing, and yeah, but I think it's almost time to get prepared. I can explain it after my next session. Okay. 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 This was hard. Before the last set, I was talking about training endurance on a small wall, like on a bouldering wall or a spray wall. And this is something that I usually do. I do circuits. I set, for example, one circuit about 30 to 50 moves. I try the single moves and see if it's possible, and then I start trying it. And depending on what I wanna try, maybe outside or for some competition, I try to set the circuit as similar as possible on what I'm gonna do for my goal. On circuits, you climb usually much faster than on routes. For example, a 30 moves route, it could take around maybe 5 to 6 minutes, but a 30 move circuit, it could take like 2 minutes, so it's much faster. One thing you can do is to do some paused circuit, so every move you stop for 3 seconds and do the next move, then stop 3 seconds and do the next move. In this way, it is more similar to what you do on rock climbing or even on like indoor routes, because when you climb and you go up and you need to clip, there is like more time while you're stuck in a position, you're stopped in a position. And with circuit you could do this training. I did one training like this in my highlighted story on Instagram. You can check, there are a lot of information about this training. It is very useful and it is very, very pumpy. So if you don't have a lead route like here in Innsbruck, you just have a small wall, even a very small wall, you can do this up and down, and it's like very pumpy and very good for endurance. Bryce Enix is asking, how important do you think pure endurance is for competition? I think like 30 years ago was just pure endurance. Now the routes in competition are changing. There are many more components like big volumes, jumps, even some tricky moves sometimes or powerful moves. So right now it is important for sure, especially for the last part of the route, because usually the last part of the route is like pure endurance, maybe some smaller holes where you are super pumped. So if you have like a good endurance, it will be very important for competition. But now it is much more complex. In my opinion, for a route, it would be better to have maybe 70% endurance, 30% power, maybe from my experience. So you have to have enough power to do the moves in a way that it doesn't take too much from you, and you can do some even harder or weirder moves that you can find now in some competition routes. You will never find a super hard, like a 8A boulder move in a route, in a World Cup route for sure. But endurance, I think, is still the main component for competition climbing, and that's why I'm still competing, because this is my strength, endurance. This one is not related to endurance training, but Thomas Cole asked me how can I get over fear of falling. Okay, this is something more related to rock climbing or climbing even indoor, but lead climbing. I think having fear is normal in climbing. It is part of like human behavior, part of human instinct. So we cannot like completely cancel and delete the fear. We just need a way to put it away. Just forget about fear. My secret, my trick is to focus on the goal. So for example, I set the goal is to climb a route, is to top the route. If you are focused and you want to send the route, you don't have fear. The fear comes when you maybe just trying the moves, you go over the bolt and you're afraid of falling, because you're focused on falling and not on the goal. The goal could be also going to the next quick throw, climb the next few meters. You can have intermediate goals that let you put fear away and almost forget about fear if you focus on what you're doing, on climbing, on the moves and on the goals. This is a trick. And yeah, there are still maybe 1 or 2 questions, but I have more time after my next set. Okay, now I decided to change route, at least the first route, because like the black 8B, I already did it. I want to change a bit. It will be Onsight and will be this red 8B. I don't know if I will do it, but I want to change, and I think this could be a good one, because it seems like an endurance-based one. No! Ah! Va bene, puoi calare. Okay, I decided that this route was really good for endurance, so I'll try this again instead of trying an 8A+. Even if I didn't do it, I hopefully can do it on my second go in a row. It will be very hard. I think last question before the last set. Yeah, I decided to do one more set because I think 4 was better than 3. And the last question is, I think there are more people asking for this, and like we can take Dane Napier question. He asked or she asked, I don't know. Is it better to do 4 for 4 boulders or 2 in a row routes? So this is 2 in a row routes, what I'm doing now. Another type of endurance training could be to do 4 boulders in a row, which is similar because you do something in a row, but it's different. So in that case, I believe you train more cardio, you train more your like body endurance and not your forearms endurance. It is not something that I do very often. I do sometimes. You do like one boulder, then another one, then another one, then another one in a row, then rest a few minutes for a few sets. And yeah, I would recommend this training, I think maybe once a week, to build a more complex, like whole body endurance, more about your cardio endurance. I don't like running, I don't like do any cardio, so once, I think every month I do this kind of training. But I think for pure endurance, like the one you need on routes, it is better to do multiple routes or even circuits. With this question, I think I am almost finished. I do the last set, try hard, decide where to start, and then I will talk about keeping track of my training. I will show you the data that we collected today. Okay. Va bene così? Sì, grazie. Okay, it's over. At the end I tried 8 routes like in couples, and I think it's a pretty good training. I was pretty pumped at the end of the 80 plus. The problem here was that I didn't watch it before and I was on site, and maybe I could have done it if I knew it, but yeah, I didn't know it. Now just check on my watch. Okay, we can see what are the data about these routes and the heartbeat, and we can compare it to the next training when I will do it. Will be interesting. So I am opening the Coros app now, and let's check. Okay, the activities. Okay, 8 routes here. It is in Italian, because I'm using it in Italian, but it's easy to translate. Okay, this is today training. I did 8 routes. Okay, it says that I climbed 163 meters, which is cool, and I climbed for 32 meters. This is interesting because sometimes you just see how much do we climb, like do we train, like I don't know, it was for 1 hour, and it should be written here. 1 second. No trouble. Okay, time of the training is 1 hour and 54, but I didn't train for 1 hour and 54. I actually climbed for 32 minutes. The max grade is 8B, and I did 8 falls. And okay, I fall, like the highest fall was for 5 meter and 5 meter and 60 centimeters, and my average heartbeat was more or less 108. So okay, now here we can see the routes that I did. If we open this chart, we can see the route. It auto-detects when I start and when I go down, and at the end of each route I need to put the grade of the route that I just climbed. So you can see I did first 8B 80 plus, 8B 80 plus, on the third was 8B and 8B, and the last one was 8B 80 plus. We can also open here the heartbeat. You can see it aligns to the routes that I did. I think the highest that I reached was here in the second set. We can check. It was, you can see here in the right, 169. Okay, the third set was maybe the easiest for me, and then the last set was again quite high, 160. Yeah, not at my limit because they were like not routes at my limit. I'm curious to try to show you on routes like at my limit, like 80 plus 9A. I did some in the past days. I will maybe do another videos if you want, showing the hardest route. And now here you can see, okay, the altitude and the heartbeat. I was like most of the time for 1 hour and 32 minutes below 128 heartbeat, and I was at like working on endurance. You can see here endurance, resistenza. Okay, and this is interesting to see also every route that I did. If it was on site, if it was red point, I need to add it manually after the route, and how many falls did I do on each route. So I did 2 falls in the first, and then 1 and 1, and then I didn't fall in the second 8B, which was quite nice. And here I can say it was quite hard, maybe not at the max like the hardest thing, but it was hard. And I can add note here. You can see I can write endurance training outside. This is pretty much all. I'm curious to compare it to the next training. I will register another training, and I think I can put these data in a link below. You can download them and check it out and see. I have no secrets, so these were all my secrets about my endurance training. So you can even watch my heartbeat and everything. And I don't remember if I mentioned Coros is in collaboration with this video. And so thank you, Coros, for this collaboration, and thank you guys for watching these videos. Remember to subscribe to my channel, to watch the uncut video of Excalibur, and see you on the next videos and on the next training.